Hello, my name is Shaukat John and welcome to my channel. In today's lesson, I'm going to talk about some linking words to express contrast in English. So make sure to watch the video until the end because I give you some homework at the end whether you understood or not. So let's get started. Normally, we use these three words to show contrast in English. So these words although, even though, and though. Grammatically, we use these words with subject plus verb. We do not use these words with noun phrases or gerund, verb ing, or pronouns. So be careful when you use these words. Make sure you use these words with subject plus verb. Okay? So through examples, I'll explain some punctuation rules and you will know how to use these words. Well, let's have a look at some examples in order to understand better these words. Well, the first example is, although the exam was difficult, I did well. You see, there are two sentences, but we connect them with although. So we have A point in here and we have B point in here. So as I said before, we are connecting these words although with although. So punctuation rule is, if we use although in the initial point at the start, we separate two sentences with comma. Let's make this rule simple. If although in the initial point, we use comma. And next example, they had a good time although it rained a lot. You see, we have A point and B point. So we are still connecting these separate ideas, separate sentences with although. By using although, we connecting two separate sentences. So they had a good time although it rained a lot. We expect if it's raining a lot, people could not get a good time, but it's unexpected result, it's contrast, so we use although. So you see, we can use although and though in the middle position or in the first position. So I hope you understood up to now, and let's continue. Even though. What's the difference between although and even though? The difference is, even though is much stronger. If you show contrast, strong unexpected results, you use even though. Let's have a look at some examples here. Even though I was really tired, I couldn't sleep. Normally, when you are tired, you get sleep easily, but in my case, I couldn't sleep. And I'm showing these opposing ideas with although. You see, although and though, if they are used in the middle position, we use comma in the middle. And next example, it is chilly even though it's summer. You see, it's strong contrast. If it's summer, the weather should be hot, but it's strong contrast, so we are using even though. If even though is used in the middle position, we do not use comma. Okay? And lastly, we have though. What's the difference between although and even though? The difference is quite similar with although and though. If in terms of punctuation, if we use though in the first position, we use comma. And sometimes in spoken English we use though in the second sentence and at the end, of course. So I'll show you how to use though in sentences. So the first example is, though I do not usually drink coffee, I have had 2 cups today. You see, we have A point and here B point, and I'm connecting two sentences with though. Of course, it's contrast. Also, or though I do not usually drink coffee, but today especially. I have had 2 cups. You see, though can be used in the middle, in the first position. And last example, we have 2 separate sentences here. It is winter, it's cold though. You see, we separate 2 sentences and we have full comma here, and though is in the next sentence at the end. And when we use though at the end, we separate it with comma. You see, we have comma here. If you do not put comma in writing, it's wrong, it's not correct. So be careful when you are using these words in English. So I hope you understood what I explained up to now, and I give you some idea how to show, how to use in spite of and despite. Now let's talk about in spite of and despite. Well, in spite of and despite are prepositions. We use these 2 words to show contrast, to express our unexpected results. So grammatically we use in spite of, despite plus noun, verb ing, or pronouns like this, that, what, and etc. So there are also sentences, example sentences, for you to get better understood these 2 words. So let's have a look at examples. In spite of the rain, they had a good time. You see, we have in spite of plus noun phrase, and we have another sentence, and we have, let's say, A point and B point. We have opposing ideas. We connect these 2, A and B, with in spite of plus noun phrase. So if in spite of is used in the first position, we separate it with comma. And next, I didn't apply for the job in spite of having necessary qualifications. We have having, it's a verb ing, we use this verb as a noun. So you see, in spite of, in the middle position, we do not have any commas. So the rule is, if in spite of is in the middle position, we do not use any comma. Okay? And next example, in spite of what I said yesterday, I still love you. You see, in spite of plus what, it's a considered pronoun. So in spite of what I said yesterday, I still love you. We have, as usual, 2 A and B point, and in spite of connects to opposing ideas. And next we have despite here. Despite being very tired, I couldn't sleep. As you can see, despite is being used in the middle position, and we need comma. The rule is simple. Although, even though, in spite of, and despite, all are used in the middle position, and we need comma. Okay? And the next example, she wasn't well, but despite this, she continued working. We have despite in here, and this is pronoun. So after despite, we can use pronoun. So it's used in the middle position, so we do not use any comma. And lastly, despite our efforts, we failed after all. We have used despite in the initial point, and we need comma in here to separate 2 points, A and B points. Okay, so I hope you understood punctuation rules and grammar rules related to although, even though, in spite of, and despite. So make sure you will do homework at the end and write your answers in the comment section below. I'll check and reveal the answers once this video gets 100 views. So take care of yourself and see you next time.